Hello everybody and welcome to the Pretty Good Gaming Podcast, episode number 106. Hello a croeso I podcast Rhif Cant a Chwech. My name is Gareth Evans. Joining me today is Mr. Henry. Good to go. E3's around the corner. Cooper.
I wish it wasn't around the corner. I wish it was like now, because there's still piss all going on. Ratchet and Clank was kind of the biggest thing. And people like it, so I guess that's a good thing, but there's virtually nothing else going on. It was hard to find talking points for this week.
It's funny because by the time people are watching this, they're like, what are you talking about? E3's like full swing.
Exactly. Because it kicks off on, what, the 13th, I think?
Yeah.
Which is, today's the 10th, so it's a couple of days away.
Yeah, it's the day we release this on YouTube is when it starts. So and a football's starting tomorrow as well, the European Championships. So that's all exciting. I'm sure you're thrilled.
There's only one question that is relevant in a football discussion involving an international tournament, and that is it coming home, Gaz? Is it coming home this time, or is it not? Because it never does, and it's always a disaster.
You'd have a better chance if Southgate wasn't the manager, because he's taken like half a team of defenders. He used to be a defender, and literally half of his squad are defenders. And it's like, you know, I mean, I'm a Welsh fan. I'll support Gareth Bale and the boys over there, and I'll follow England as well. To be fair, I'm not one of those who just hates England because he's Welsh. There are a lot of those people, but I will be back in the England team as well because you know they're from the league, the players from the league that I watch all the time. I do have some predictions. I think there's a question later on about the thing. We'll talk about that in due course.
I'll look forward to that question.
It's just like, who do you think is going to win the Euros? But I'll get into that rather than spoil that now. So it's an exciting weekend. It feels like things are, you know, it's the end of everything being locked down. Like E3, all right, it's going to be an online event. It's not going to be people walking around on a show floor like it usually is. But we are expecting a lot of stuff. I think it was completely cancelled last year, or they did it like scaled down as the Games Fest or whatever it was, wasn't it?
I think they said that they were going to look into doing it, and then it just never happened. I don't know if it was ever like officially cancelled. I just think it just didn't go on. But this year it is going ahead, and there's some. Yeah, most of the big publishers are going, apart from like the platform holders like Sony, Nintendo, Xbox are going, unless Activision's going. Warner Bros are going, but they're showing virtually nothing, even though they've got 3 huge games, but we'll get onto that. That's a talking point. But beyond just E3 itself as the expo known as E3, there's other shows and streams going off, so we'll get some bits and pieces from different things. So at least now we get things to talk about that are hopefully interesting. Well, assuming there's anything to talk about and it's not all delayed into the wind.
Yeah. It's funny because there's been virtually nothing for so long. It felt like, you know, like when a wave comes at the seaside and the water gets sucked up, and then the wave's just about to come and all the water goes sucked into the wave. Hopefully that's what it is, and everything just lands at the same time, and everything's
too much.
Exciting. Yeah, there could be. There usually is too much to talk about E3 week, and then, you know, the thing is with E3, usually reporters are there asking questions to the devs, and then these articles get produced. There's not going to be much of that this year because it's all online. So it's interesting to see how that's going to develop, whether we do get those behind-the-scenes stories and, you know, not exposés, but the into the nitty-gritty on some of the development teams and what they're working on and stuff like that. That's probably going to be the problem this year. That's not me.
There is one major thing that I will be missing, and that is the live stage cringe of just dumb shit that some marketing people thought was a smart move. Bringing Keanu Reeves out was a 1 in a million shot. That could have been a disaster, but it landed. You had the organic, natural, spontaneous moment of the breathtaking thing. We all loved it. Then obviously,
this is the Jesse Wellens nonsense. Did you see?
Maybe all of their good luck was spent in the universe on that one moment with Keanu. Yeah, there's going to be none of that. No weird like Hello Kitty dances. I think didn't Ubisoft do that kind of thing once? I can't remember. Ubisoft are the best at that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we see a good show. We could spend this whole podcast speculating about what our predictions are going to be, but we're not going to do that because we'd rather just talk about when it happens next week.
It's just a waste of time.
Everyone's got their predictions. We've got a bit of information about what's not showing coming up. Just run through what we're going to be talking about. Well, in the preamble for E3 week, Battlefield 2042, not 2042, Battlefield 2042, they has released a trailer. We're going to be getting into the nitty-gritty of that this week. That was like yesterday, that one. We're talking about Warner Brothers not showing their biggest games at E3, question mark. And then we've got maybe another story. I didn't read that one, so I'm not going to say what it is. And then after that, we've got...
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, okay. So those are the two stories for today. Then the Discord questions. And then, clearly didn't watch the video before commenting comment of the week, is what it's titled this week. Followed by regular YouTube comments and the bad dad joke of the week. Let's just jump straight in then to something that we can talk about because it did happen, and it was Battlefield 2042 released a trailer. Right, let me just set this up, right? You get 24 hours warning or something. There's a live stream on YouTube. Battlefield 2042 reveal. And there's a countdown on it, and the stream goes live, and everyone, I think Skillip even tweeted, it was like, in Australia, it must have been a stupid time in the morning, like 3 o'clock or something like that. And so everyone waited up to see the reveal. And then the stream started, and there was an hour's countdown. And everyone's like, what the fuck? I think Skillip tweeted, right, I guess I'm going to bed
Sony did it with bloody Horizon. They were like, all right, here's this... when the stream starts, but then there's there's some wanky term for it. It's like uniquely crafted countdown, and it was 5 hours of background wallpaper shots. I'm like, yeah, it looks pretty, but what's the point? Just start when you're going to start.
And then after that, the stream, when the countdown on the stream ended, the stream closed, and then you had to go elsewhere to the premiere video. So it was just a shit show in terms of organisation. Absolute shit show. And I was like, I'm here at the time, but where the fuck is the video? And I had to go, and I had to it was just annoying. Just annoying.
And then the reveal at the end of it was pretty dog shit as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah, this is what we're here to talk about. Let's announce the game by showing a cinematic trailer of just explosions and fast cuts, and
there's literally that right. CG trailers, they do have their place in the industry. I generally don't like them, but companies like Blizzard and Bethesda are really good at them because they make them like these short films where there's like a narrative. There's some guy who's never going to say a word, who's going to fight like a monster, and it's going to look flashy and cool. This had none of that. It's literally just explosions and thing go boom. Get excited in some sort of vaguely half sci-fi, half futuristic, but not really because it's only about 20 years in the future thing. I don't know. It did nothing for me. But the most offensive part is when you hear just in the background, the little rumblings, the little echo, a little bit of reverb of Motley Crue's iconic track, Kickstart My Heart, a song that is... at first glance, like an adrenaline song. It's about like getting a rush, let's go, 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 go. And I guess, yeah, I mean, the trailer's a bit action-packed. It's a bit like that. Okay, fair enough. But the song itself is actually about waking up from a heroin or a general drug overdose and getting a needle stuck in your chest, literally kickstarting your heart. That's what it's about. Odd choice, if you ask me. Excellent song, but it's in one of these stupid, like, slowed down, echoey remixes because that's what trailers are these days. We had the Inception thing for a while, that's gone. Now they just take a song from at least 20 years ago, sometimes more, and then just slow it down. Maybe it's an acoustic cover to make it all moody. At least it wasn't that. But yeah, this trailer thing did absolutely nothing for me. In fact, maybe I am being harsh, but I think it did less than nothing for me. I think it kind of turned me off.
Yeah,
I don't have any interest in Battlefield.
I think that's the problem.
I wasn't going to get this game.
It wasn't
anyway,
for you, was
but
it?
I was like,
I think it wasn't aimed at you.
Maybe if you are a Battlefield fan, maybe this is what you like. It's not World War II again, so I guess that's a good thing. At least it's not as bad as the trailer for Battlefield 5, where they had the woman with the prosthetic arm in the middle of a battlefield in World War II. Yeah, or was it World War One? I can't remember. It's all the same shit. my brain's starting to fall apart because I'm just not here for this game.
Yeah.
There's no gameplay. There's no nothing. It shows off some like just general like ground foot soldier shooting stuff, and then there's some vehicle bits, which I guess is kind of cool. Some suggestions of environmental destruction. All of that is kind of staples of the Battlefield series versus something like Call of Duty, which was much more just shooting. Battlefield was like, yeah, we've got tanks and planes. Okay, cool. But where's the gameplay was my constant thought throughout. They had a couple of moments where it sort of goes first person for like a second at a time, pretending to be gameplay. It's not real gameplay. There's certainly no HUD or anything like that. There was a bit towards the end which I thought was cool, but really, really stupid. For Battlefield, in a similar vein to Call of Duty, kind of wants to be a bit more realistic, a bit grounded in the real world. But yeah, let's have a guy fly a plane vertically upwards, which you can do, while another one chasing him. He's then going to eject from the plane with a rocket launcher that he just happened to have in the cockpit with him, shoot that plane, and then get back into the plane as he's falling. If Arnold Schwarzenegger did it, or Stallone did it, I could probably buy it. But in a game like Battlefield, I was like, okay. It is quite fun because it's something players have actually done before, which is cool. Like, I get that. That's awesome. But in this trailer, I was like, what is this? What are you trying to show me? I just got nothing. No, I don't know, man. My brain's not cooperating with whatever this this game's supposed to be.
I totally agree. My thoughts were like, this is just a marketing. This is not to give us information about the game to assess maybe if we want to buy it or not. This is just the same old generic trailer that they produce every single year. And you could look at all last few years of a few times they've produced a Battlefield trailer, and it's exactly the same. It's just a little bit of, excitement and shenanigans, explosions, a lot of combat scenarios that aren't representative of the game, and it just show you maybe some of the equipment that you might have on the setting, so you can see what in general what the Battlefield is going to be like. But there's nothing for us. It's just
there's zero hook. That's what I don't get most. There's no gimmick thing they're showing off. I mean, a tornado shows up at the end, which is that's kind of cool. If that's going to factor into multiplayer games, if there's a tornado can show up, that's quite interesting.
But people lap it up.
But there's nothing that.
That's the problem, isn't it? People lap it up. Like obviously the people are just waiting for information. Over 1 million views on the IGN one. I don't know how much on the official Battlefield chat. All the fanboys are like, "Oh yes, it's amazing." I think as a community,
the official Battlefield channel has 8.5 million views and 690,000 likes to 15,000 dislikes. So people like it.
Yeah, they
do.
Be
enjoying it.
If it was anything new, if they were showing something interesting off, I might be interested myself. But we know what it's going to be. It's a Battlefield game. You've played 10 of them already. Yeah. Like what is there to be excited about? It's just going to. That's just my old cynical brain, who's not a big fan of the franchise, I'll be honest. But obviously there's a lot of people who will be fans, who will be excited about this. But for me, let's just get together as a community and boycott these bullshit CG trailers and so that they stop making them. Because if you don't watch them, nobody will make them. Nobody will get excited about them, apart from the journalists, because they're starved of information to write about. And then it'll just be the journalists watching them.
We're in the same position, man. Yeah. We're in that group.
And then when they actually reveal information about the game and gameplay, let's watch those videos. Let's not watch these bullshit marketing campaigns, because that's all this is.
I mean, people reading through some of the comments on the Battlefield official channels video, people do like it, and I'm not disparaging that. If you like it, you like it, but I just don't get it. I think it's a bit of what's it called? They've been so burnt by the last one, Battlefield 5, which launched and everyone hated it. For a bunch of reasons. Then there was some DLC problems. I think for a while there was. I remember reporting it, but I can't remember what the hell it was actually about. There was some TDK changes based on new players coming in, so they fucked up all the weapons and screwed over the loyal fans who were already there just for the sake of new people. There was their Battle Royale mode, which was a disaster, which was delayed massively. I think people are just so burnt by that one that anything that's not that is good.
Okay.
And I can kind of see that. If you've been hurt so many times, just any sort of olive branch is worth holding on to.
Yeah, let's try.
The top comment.
Sorry, carry on.
The top comment's from a guy called Hunter TV, who is a YouTuber. Apparently he's got 775,000 subscribers. I don't know who he is. never seen his content. And it says, this trailer has more likes than Battlefield 5's in only 1 hour, and it got 30,000 likes. So clearly, there's something there. They've been burnt by the last one, and this new one, it's given them what they want, which is good. If you give the fans what they want, I just do not see it remotely as a non-fan.
I get you. So let's try and give as much information as we can about the game for the people who are excited about it and don't want to get triggered by our negativity. Okay, game overview on the website. Battlefield 2042, if you don't know much about it, marks the return to the iconic all-out warfare of the franchise. Adapt and overcome dynamically changing battlegrounds with the help of your squad and cutting-edge arsenal. With support of 128 players. Prepare for unprecedented scale on vast environments. Take on massive experiences from updated multiplayer modes like Conquest and Breakthrough to all new Hazard Zone. I hear there's no single-player campaign in this.
Yep, well, that's worth talking about in a bit.
Yeah, and the world in 2042, extreme weather events and resource conflicts have shifted the balance of global power. The United States and Russia stand at the brink of war, while a mix of non-patrioted combat veterans from independent groups known as task forces fight to define the future in this never-before-seen theatre of war. So they've gone full make-believe future type of scenario.
It's Russia versus America, but there's the people in the middle. We don't identify with Russia or America. We're going to go our own way. We're macho men, and we have little robot dogs, which, I mean, if I see a robot dog in a game, you immediately get at least 1 point. So the trailer didn't do absolutely nothing for me. I'll scratch that from what I said earlier. It does have a little robot dog. There you go. 1 point on the board. It's just, again, I'm sure people like it, and I'm happy for you. I genuinely am. But this does nothing for me. The weather thing is quite cool, but I don't know. I want to know more about that. I mean, if there's going to be a tornado walking through, or a hurricane, or a tsunami, hell, a volcano. A volcano would be awesome. But I don't know.
The gameplay is set to be shown soon, right? There was an announcement of...
that it's meant to be, I think, coinciding with E3. I'm pretty sure it's on the 13th.
Okay.
But I don't think... It's not part of E3 because EA usually do their own thing. They're doing EA Play on the 22nd of July, so you'll obviously get some more information about it then. The game itself, I don't know if there's an exact release date, but I believe it's releasing in October.
Yeah, I think there is a release date. For what? Oh, the world premiere of the gameplay is June the 13th. Yeah, so that is on Sunday.
Oh yeah, 22nd of October is when it comes out.
22nd of October is the release date. Yeah.
Which is pretty much when they all come out. It's,
okay,
in time for Christmas and all that shit.
Yeah, that's it. Let's get all those Christmas purchases in. What else do we know about the game? What other information do we have?
Well, there's no campaign, which I think will annoy a lot of people. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't really see it as a bad thing. I would like a campaign, but having it or not having it won't stop me buying this game. Most people who really care about a campaign probably weren't going to buy this anyway, because that's never the focus. So if they cut it out, I think it's actually a good idea for their business model, so they can focus more time and resources and whatnot on making the multiplayer, which is the key draw, the best it can possibly be, or the best it will possibly be in 5 years when they eventually finish the game and give it all the content that it's supposed to have in this modern AAA world. I just wouldn't have bought it anyway, so this means nothing to me. There's no campaign. Maybe some people would be mad, but I mean, I don't think it's worth being mad about. It's not been their draw for ages.
No, exactly. I think for the core players, they play it for the multiplayer, and I think Call of Duty did it. So why not?
Yeah, Call of Duty, they have re-added campaigns in. They took a couple off, and then they did one in, what's the new one? Cold War. There's one in that. I'm pretty sure anyway. I might be lying, but I think there is one. And there was one in Modern Warfare, the newer Modern Warfare. So it can work without it. They took it out and did fine. So I see no harm in Battlefield doing the same thing. Another perhaps notable absence is a Battle Royale mode. It's not going to have one, which may seem a little bit odd. I mean, it's hugely popular at the moment. Maybe it's not booming as it once was, but because they were everywhere. They're still massive. They're still going. Like Fortnite is still a juggernaut, constantly releasing content. And as I touched on earlier, there were struggles with Battlefield 5's Battle Royale mode called Firestorm. That's just it just never really manifested the way it was supposed to, and it was delayed a bunch of times, this, that, and the other. But when I hear there's no Battle Royale mode coming to a game like this, I just hear it's because you can do a standalone one. You're going to do a separate Call of Duty Warzone, free to play, and it's going to share, an account, and then you'll be able to cross over resources. It makes sense. Warzone's been hugely successful.
Yeah.
So I don't see that there's no Battle Royale ever for this game.
I mean, I think Battlefield has got such the game type in Battlefield, the huge Battlefield where the conditions change and the objectives change during the battle. That in itself is the draw for Battlefield for me, right?
Yes, that is why it's better than COD for that thing.
Well, it's different to COD, right? It's got its unique selling point, whereas they should definitely focus on that, because that's what the fans like, the traditionalists like. They can get Battle Royale elsewhere, and I'm a fan of just doubling down on what's good about your game and not just trying to throw in loads of different things or the faddy things because everyone's doing it. Just do what you do best and do it better and innovate in what you're doing, rather than just stealing ideas off people just because it's popular. So if this is what they're aiming at and they're not doing a standalone, that's fine. Or even if they are doing a standalone, I think it's a good decision.
Well, yeah, that's definitely the right way to do it, but this is EA, man. There's no way they're letting that market slide. I'd like, come on, it's not gonna happen. Yeah, they should focus on what they're good at, which is this multi-objective, multi-phase battles. Which is, I haven't played much Battlefield in my time, but I played a reasonable amount of Star Wars Battlefront, which is virtually the same thing, just reskinned. And the multi-phase battles in that were my favorite part of that, and that's why I said that's what it does better than COD, because COD usually it's straightforward objectives, one objective, game done, jump into another one kind of thing. Maybe it's changed a little bit since I played it, but these multi-phase things, it adds much more of a goal to strive towards. It's almost a bit of a narrative. Maybe this Russia versus America, no patriot thing will be told in an interesting way. I don't expect it to, but maybe there's an opportunity for it. Big player battles will be cool. That's definitely something I got from the trailer. They just throw loads of guys on screen, and again, it's CG, it doesn't mean anything, but the suggestion is there's going to be loads of people involved in the battle. So I think you said it earlier, but 128 player battles on PC, PS5 and Xbox Series X, then 64 player battles on PS4 and Xbox One. So that's going to be pretty hectic. Again, Battlefield has been known for doing big multiplayer battles, which is cool. Again, if you're a Battlefield fan, I'm sure this is ticking boxes for you. I just don't get it. Okay. So, before we kind of round off, is there anything else? To be honest, I'm in the same boat as you. It's not the game for me. However, I'm trying to stay positive. And not and not try and rag on it too much, because it's one of those games that has its appeal. So, I think have we covered everything? I think more or less. I mean, that's it, man. I said it was dog shit at the start, but
it's just the trailer, isn't it? It just gives you.
It's just not for me. Like other people like it, and they probably have very different tastes in games to me, and that's absolutely fine. And they're going to enjoy it. Good for you, buddy.
We're just getting too old now, Henry. We're just.
I think
old
we are,
and tired of this shit.
Much older than me, and I'm too young to be that old and cynical. But I have been for all my life. Eventually, when I age up to 80, if I survive that bloody long, then I will have the body and age to actually represent my personality. I've always been a grumpy old git.
There you go. Let's move on then to the second story of today, which is Warner Brothers not showing their biggest games at E3. What the fuck are you playing at, Warner Brothers? It's E3. It's supposed to be like, what are you doing? What are they doing, Henry?
It's weird, man. I don't know what they're thinking. Warner Bros. They are supposedly currently working on a game called Gotham Knights, which is a Batman game, around the Batman characters other than Batman. Batman is supposedly dead, according to a trailer, but he's definitely not dead. Then there's the Suicide Squad game, which is completely separate, but this one is within the Arkham Arkham games continuity, and the other one isn't, even though it would make more sense the other way around, but that's not the way it is. They're two separate continuities. And then there's the Hogwarts game, which was leaked years ago. It was one of the first things I even covered on this channel. Then it was radio silent for ages, and there is an official trailer, I think, from sometime last year, but it's kind of like CG and alluding to gameplay, but not actually being proper gameplay. So those are three huge games, huge IPs, but they're not showing them off at the biggest gaming event of the year. They've just decided not to. And I guess it's better to only show something when you have something to show. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it seems odd to me that all three of them are skipping. And Warner has confirmed that. Like, it's not just leaked. They've said they're not doing it. They're only showing one game during E3, and that's Back 4 Blood. Back 4 Blood, I am quite excited for. That looks really cool. It's literally Left 4 Dead again, which is awesome. Well up for that. But it seems like such a missed opportunity to show off your three, or at least one of your three massive games at the biggest gaming event of the year. Like, that just seems odd to me.
Yeah, that's it. But then again, there's the Summer Game Fest 2. So E3.
Well, yeah, they haven't explicitly said that it's not going to show up anywhere. They've just said it's not going to E3. So I mean, maybe
they're doing that.
Could show somewhere else. But
Summer Game Fest kicks off. Actually, the day before is today, so that's the 10th, and then it kicks off on the 11th, which is before E3. And I'm just looking at some. They've got some big names apparently. Elden Ring is something that you might have heard of. It's the From Software who do Dark Souls. Their game in conjunction with George R.R. Martin's.
The only thing I ever hear about Elden Ring is anytime there's a stream of anything by anyone, they're like, you can see it in the live chat. Elden Ring, Sony stream, Microsoft stream, Elden Ring. And I'm like,
there's
people want that game.
There's a Reset Era user, Omnipotent, who said that they're going to be showing it off during the Games Fest, right? So if that's to be believed, it's actually trending on Twitter right now, Elden Ring. So if that's to be believed, that's a big coup for the Summer Games Fest. And, I wouldn't be surprised if some of these big publishers decide to side with Summer Game Fest instead of E3, because the reputation of E3 isn't the best right now. Everyone knows and loves Jeff Keighley, the organizer of Summer Game Fest. And he's going to put on a good show. So whether Warner Brothers decide to go down that route, as well as some of the other publishers, that's an option.
I think it'd be really interesting if Summer Games Fest, because there's only been one before, and that was last year, and obviously that's with the teething problems of having to do an online-only event and that sort of stuff, and it being the first one ever. I'd love to see them just blow E3 the fuck out of the water.
Yeah.
I'd just love it. Like, the ESA, they are so, like, they're the corporation of the games industry, really. They're a combination of your Activisions and your EAs, all of them. Even, like, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, they're all in there, and they all, like, fiddle with the behind-the-scenes stuff of, like, loot box legislation, basically everything that could be done dirty. They've had a finger in it.
Yeah.
I just love someone who perhaps it's not the case, but it seems so genuinely enthusiastic about all things gaming that is Jeff Keighley. I mean, yeah, he's like a marketing buzz guy, but he's a person. He's a face you can put at the front of it, and then when it goes wrong, you'd be like, you dickhead, you fucked it up.
Yeah.
Whereas the ESA is a faceless organisation full of all of your fucking Android Wilson and Bobby Kotick and all that shit.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's interesting to see what happens this year. Both these events are going to be online, and they're going to be competing, are they? I don't know. We'll be able to see by this time next week, that's for sure. But there you go. Games Fest is starting earlier. So is that it for Warner Brothers?
More or less. I mean, it's not much of a story other than they've said they're not doing it, which it seems a little odd. The only other thing I would add is that maybe they're saving Gotham Knights and the Suicide Squad game for their dedicated DC fandom event, which comes in October, but that's ages away. And that's specifically around DC properties, which they own, obviously. But yeah, beyond that, there's not really much else going on.
Yeah, I'm just looking at
Well, I should point out that Gotham Knights and Hogwarts, I'm pretty sure Hogwarts Legacy as well. Well, Gotham Knights was billed for 2021, but then they delayed it. And then I think they delayed Hogwarts Legacy before they'd actually even given it a date. I might be making that up, but I think that's what happened.
Cool.
So all three games are currently, at the time of recording, expected to come in next year. So it does seem odd that they are not showing off anything of at least one of them at this point, this coming week. Okay. But again, maybe it'll creep up somewhere.
So I'm just looking at the Summer Game Fest schedule. June the 11th, which is tomorrow. For those of you who are watching on Patreon, on the day that we release this. This will be today. New World Deep Dive starts things off. Netflix Geeked Week.
That's the Amazon MMO, right?
Yeah. Well, we're going to get a look at that. So the Geeked Week, which is Jeff Keighley joins at Netflix Geeked to debut shows and films based on your favourite games. So that'll be interesting. Films based on games. What? The Last of Us isn't a film, that's a show, isn't it? Well, yeah. So, I don't know, will we see The Last of Us?
Well, Netflix is handling a few things at the moment with games. They're doing the Resident Evil show, like animated show. There's probably a bit of that. Yeah. I think they're doing a Devil May Cry one. They're doing a Dragon's Dogma one. Although that might have come out already. I can't remember.
Yeah. It's usually something Ubisofty as well might be there. I don't know. Koch Primetime or Koch Media Primetime. So they're a big publisher. So a lot of stuff going on there. That's on the 11th as well. June the 12th, Ubisoft Forward and Devolver Digital on that day, so that'll be interesting. June the 13th, Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase. So
that's the one to watch, I'd say, because it's the first big one for Microsoft and their brand new console generation, but also with Bethesda, who normally will put on a pretty big show anyway. And like I said, they do good flashy CG trailers, so maybe they'll do one for Elder Scrolls and we'll get zero information, but we'll see an orc fighting a Nord or something.
And it's a good, it's early morning for us, so June the 13th, 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern, but that will be 5 a.m. for us, I think, something like that off the top of my head. And then Squeenix.
And quickly to interrupt, to go back to Ubisoft, because this was the other story that I was going to write up but didn't, is that there's a Splinter Cell, The Division, and Ghost Recon crossover game, which sounds quite fun because Splinter Cell's been gone for ages, and I want to warn anyone, if during a Ubisoft event you see the 3 dots, don't get too excited, because it's, according to this, which is a leak, it's not a proper Splinter Cell game or anything. It's some multiplayer PvP mashup thing. So just that's the extent of that. I don't want you to get excited when you hear it go.
I mean, it's another E3, so we can guarantee there's no Splinter Cell because it's what the fans want, and they just won't give it because they
just don't care.
Ubisoft. So after the Xbox and Bethesda, because Xbox brought up so many developers, and they always put on a good show for E3. You expect good things for that. You really do. You expect a lot of information to come out. By the time that they had a big showcase of exclusive games that everyone's like, yeah, but these games, every year people are like, yeah, but these games are multi-platform. Yeah, PlayStation are better. It's not about that, man. It's about the games, what they show, and the show that they put on. That'll be a good one, especially with Bethesda on board. Just interested to see how it goes down. Square Enix after that, Back for Blood showcase then later on the 13th. So that's the Warner Bros. June the 16th, the Steam Next Fest, 6 days, hundreds of demos from Steam. So for PC gamers, that's the 16th. 23rd, which is a week later, Sonic Symphony Orchestra. I don't know what that is. An orchestral performance of selections from 30 years of Sonic titles in a special Summer Game Fest event. So if you're interested in your Sonic music, that's one for you. And then July the 22nd, which is next month, EA Play Live. And this is on the Summer Game Fest bill. I don't know why this is on here. This is 8 weeks or 6 weeks.
It's always kind of just been its own thing, and it hasn't needed anyone else, and now it's tagging onto Summer Game Fest.
It's July the 22nd. You're talking like 8 weeks. That's a lot of weeks
Something
away.
Like that.
7 weeks away.
Yeah.
Like, why just do EA Play? Don't be part of Summer Game Fest. I don't know if it's a joint marketing nonsense or whatever.
I don't know if this is the full and complete schedule yet, because I think there might be room for more things to be added. They've got loads of publishers showing up. I'll quickly rattle through them. 2K, Activision, there's an Amazon, I assume that's Amazon Games, but then there's a separate thing later called Prime Gaming, but I guess that's more Twitch related. Annapurna Interactive, Blizzard, Capcom, Devolver Digital, Dotemu, EA, Epic Games, Finji, Frontier, Gearbox, Hi-Res Studios, Inner Sloth, Koch Media, Mediatonic, MiHoYo, Bandai Namco, Netflix, I guess, Psyonix, Raw Fury, Riot Games, Saber Interactive, Sega, PlayStation, this Prime Gaming thing, Square Enix, Steam, Tencent Games, Tribeca Festival, but that's like a film festival, so and then they're now branching out into games. Kojima's done some stuff there. Ubisoft, Warner Bros, Wizards of the Coast, and Xbox. So there's loads of stuff there.
Yeah. I don't know if this Summer Games Fest is kind of hand in hand with E3 by the looks of it, because it looks like the E3 schedule includes a lot of the ones we've talking about, like the Xbox. Yeah,
they seem to be kind of dovetailing.
Yeah. So there you go. There's probably more to go on. We're not going to go into it. That was a bit ad hoc anyway. That was a bit unscheduled look at what was, because I was interested myself. So let's just.
I don't like wasting time with speculation stuff, because it's just nothing information, and in a day it'll be either proven or disproven. So.
And also it adds to like hype and expectation, which is always the worst thing to do as a gamer. Is build your own hype and expectation for stuff, because
easy trap to fall into.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on now, and I think that's it for our segments this week. We're going to move on to the community section, which involves answering questions from the Discord community or the Patreon supporters on the Discord community. And if you want to become a patron, if you want to support the content that we produce, then you can head over to patreon.com/prettygoodgaming. In return for your support, you get early access to the podcast. You get to ask us questions for the podcast every week, and you get access to the members-only portion of the Discord. Triple bill. We do appreciate everybody who does sign up and support us. You can sign up, like I said, on patreon.com/prettygoodgaming, or sign up on the YouTube main channel and join the members there. And without much further ado, let's jump in to the first question. Do you want to take it away, Henry?
Let's do it. This is Marcus Hicks. I have noticed an uptick in board games getting converted to a digital format. Scythe, Twilight Struggle, Fury of Dracula. So I was wondering if there was any physical board game that you would both love to see converted to digital form. I don't have a very interesting answer for this one, because I don't really play board games, I'm afraid. Yes, I've got nothing really to add. Sorry.
No.
I'm seeing kind of a lot of the reverse as well. A lot of games getting turned into board games, to board games. That's quite cool, but it's still not really something I enjoy.
Well, yeah, I mean, physical board game a la Cyberpunk was a physical board game. They got turned into a game, and we all know how that went down. So that was mainly due to CDPR's involvement than anything else. But yeah, I would like to hear what anyone who is an enthusiast for board games have to say, because we don't really play board games, so
yeah,
we're not.
And it's not that I don't like them. It's just it's not something I really do.
Yeah,
I think you need a good group who are all into it as well. Like, I play a bit of I play Dungeons and Dragons with some of my mates, but I mean that's already been done, and they've done games for that. I mean, Baldur's Gate is literally that.
Yeah.
And on that kind of note, as a brief talking point, I just started Divinity, the Original Sin 2.
Oh.
I barely played very much, and they throw a lot at you straight away. There's just like, here's a shitload of choices that you're probably not going to fully understand until you get to a point where you can actually get your weapons and stuff. But before booting up the game, I watched a bunch of things. I was like, everything you need to know before you start. So I was like, this is going to be really overwhelming. From what you've said, it's going to be pretty overwhelming. Yeah. But a lot of them said it doesn't really matter what you choose at the start, because as you level up, you can basically just respec your entire character consistently, which I was, okay, cool. At first, I was like, maybe I want to be like an archer guy. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going classic, big guy, big sword, done.
Yeah.
I think he's a fighter. So he's got sword and shield and a little bit of magic-y nonsense.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, small tangent.
You can respec at any point, and it's funny because you're saying you're watching tutorials on what to know before you start. I was 40 hours in, still watching tutorials, still wanting to know about how to build out the classes and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's one of those where it is such a steep learning curve to begin with, but it's fun at the same time. Like, you got to take your time with it. You really have got to take your time with it to get the most out of it.
And there's so much lore information they're throwing at you. I'm like, I'm a sorcerer, but sorcerer is spelt with a U, because that's a special kind of weird magic that I can do that nobody else can. Well, like a few people can. We're getting shipped off somewhere. Now the ship's crashed. Oh my god. None of that spoilers. It's literally like the first hour, and I'm already like blown away with how much stuff there is going on.
There is. Just get through it. You'll persevere, and it'll come good. So, yeah, thanks for the question, Marcus6. Sorry we couldn't deliver any better answers. So let's move on. Future Proof is next. Not a question, but the price of Patreon for $1 is more than paid for by the sheer arsenal of regularly and newly added bad dad jokes in the Discord. I've memorized a few of the best ones and have made people laugh with them. Gold! There you have it, guys.
That's good. If you can take this content and add it to your real life, you can entertain real human beings. I know it's hard to believe, gamers. Real human beings do exist.
Yeah, it's great.
They're just outside your window.
It is great, that Bad Dad Jokes channel, because I live with 3 girls, my wife and 2 daughters, and regularly one of them has a meltdown in the house, just quite often. So, tension's afraid or whatever, for whatever reason, something's gone wrong. Everyone needs a bit of a giggle. Getting that Bad Dad Jokes channel out and reading some of them bad dad jokes is the tonic that we all need sometimes, just to cheer everybody up. And I swear we've done that at least 3 or 4 times.
And at worst, you'll read something and be like, at least my life's not so bad that I find that funny. That's the bare minimum you can expect. But all of them are great. They're all funny in that none of them are funny.
Most of them are good. My wife searches for like jokes on Google, whatever, and the websites she finds, they're nowhere near as good as the caliber of bad dad jokes we've got in that Bad Dad channel.
And they're constantly updated. There's always a new flow. It's one of the most active channels.
Yes,
probably the most.
For $1 a month, guys, sign up to Discord. And sign up to Patreon. Get access to that Discord. Well worth it. And Future Proof approves. Let's move on.
Okay, this one is from Cloney99. I've been listening to some podcasts that I've missed because of my PC being broken down. Oh, that sucks. Well, at least you're able to catch up. In podcast 102, you talked about Sony/Ubisoft open world games a lot and how you're not a fan. I've been playing Spider-Man for PS4 lately, and one of my pet peeves is when they tell me to urgently get somewhere, and then the voice line lasts way longer than the travel time, and I basically have the choice of doing the super urgent important thing, or sit on a ledge and wait for Yuri, police, or MJ to finish talking. Are there any things you hate specifically about single-player experiences? Is there anything that grinds your gears and breaks your immersion, or even just is a little annoyance? That's quite a good one for open world games. It tells you you've got to get somewhere like real urgently, and then it's not just that the voice line keeps going. You've got like an urgent task you need to do. It's a real problem in any kind of RPG. Like, we need you to save the world now. Yeah. The dragon's about to destroy the land, and they're like, but over here,
got all the time in the world.
There's a little side quest where you can rescue a dog. I'm gonna rescue the dog every single time.
Yeah,
and it kind of breaks the narrative immersion. But at the same time, I love that. I like having the option to just do everything other than the main quest. And then you get to the main quest and like, right, Dragon, what's up? And you've got like the highest level gear imaginable, and you just body the bastard.
It's inevitable that you break the immersion by not keeping to a strict time schedule, because you put a lot of people under pressure if you've only got 5 hours of game time and then the world's going to explode. So you've got to sort your shit out. I think there was The Occupation? There was a game that ran in real time, so it did matter the timing on what you did, and that was a really interesting concept. I'd be interested to see how they could implement that in like a larger single player experience. But it's got to be a fucking ball ache if you're a developer to get that to work really well, because everyone wants to play at their own pace, and if you tie them to a schedule, like you've got to do this thing by then, I think Deathloop's going to be interesting, because at the very least you can fuck things up, it's real time, and then you'll just restart the whole fucking the whole loop again, and that's kind of one way around that. So that's going to be another interesting experience. I can't think of anything else that pisses me off.
I think it's quite good that you mentioned Spider-Man specifically there, because I think that's got a really good thing about the kind of urgent save the world, stop the bad guys thing, because at some parts the story just stops and they don't give you a new mission until a certain amount of time's passed, because the idea is you're Spider-Man, you're just going to swing through the city and see what happens, people to save and all that. I thought that was a really good way of kind of getting around that problem, but you're absolutely right when they're like, we need you to save the world now, or go over here and do 11 things for 4 hours.
Yeah. Thanks for the question, Cloney. I don't think I've got any other anything that specifically hate about single player experiences. Not off the top of my head, at least. Maybe if I think of something later on, I'll chime in with it. And you do have another question here. Gaz, have you had time to watch Love, Death, Robots Season 2 yet? I binged in one sleepless night. I honestly gotta say, I missed some brutality in there, some hard topics. Most of it was kind of mellow. I dread to call it boring or bad, but my excitement for it was less than Season 1, and it's not alone due to it not being the new thing anymore. How do you feel about it? Obviously, I haven't seen it, your impression, so welcome, Henry. Have you watched it, Henry?
Yes, I binged it all, I think in one night. I thought it was not as good as Series 1, but that's partly because it's significantly shorter. It's like half the length. I think there's like 8 episodes in Series 2 and almost 20 in the first series, I think. The first 2, it really felt like Black Mirror, Series 1 and 2, versus when Netflix pick it up. That's how different I think it felt with Love, Death and Robots. Because the first series had such an edge, and interesting things to tell and very adult. And then I don't think Series 2 really had anywhere near as much of that. There were a couple I really liked, like the one with the detective guy.
Pop Squad, that was called.
That's it. Where the idea is that it's the future and population is controlled and only you can like live forever immortally if you forego having children, so that only like certain people live forever. And there's this group of people who go around and literally assassinate children because they're not allowed to exist. And the guy is voiced by Nola North. Yeah. So he's always great. I thought that one was really cool.
That was great.
But even in my head right now, I'm trying to remember them. I can't think of them off the top of my head, which isn't a great sign.
There were 2 other great ones. Snow in the Desert was great. That was the.
Oh, that one was good. Yeah, I like that one.
That was the one where it's kind of like Star Warsy, where there's you're in the desert.
It had a happy ending though. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. Well,
stop having a happy ending.
The other one that was cool was I liked, and it's not very rated very highly here on IMDb, is Life Hutch, which is the second to last, where it's that combat pilot crash lands on a desolate planet, and there's that robot.
Yeah, that was
thing.
Cool.
I liked that because
I thought
the visual fidelity of that it looked real. It looked fucking real, and I did appreciate
because the main character in that is played by Michael B. Jordan, and it's just him. As far as like, I honestly couldn't tell if it was a live action head in a CGI world or full CGI. It was that close. That one was cool, but
there were a few. There were a few.
I knew where it was going to go. Yeah. I feel like it could have been like harder. They could have lent into it more.
Well, yeah, I don't really want to spoil much for people who haven't seen it and like break these episodes apart. But yeah, there was a few very forgettable ones. Like the Drowned Giant was forgettable. Ice was forgettable, which is the second one. That was pretty much forgettable. All Through the House, which was the Santa one, that was interesting. I'm not sure whether I enjoyed that so much. And then the Tall Grass was the train one. We're on a train and it stops on the train. Again, not great.
They were really pretty. Like the art style of on like the Tall Grass one was real nice. But none of them were anywhere near as good as the best ones in the first series. Snow in the Desert and Pop Squad are probably my favourites.
Definitely the best, without a shadow.
In the first series, you've got Sunny's Edge. I'm just reading through the episodes list now. That one was really good. Beyond the Aquila Rift was really good. What's the Russian one? The Secret War, that one was really cool. Alternative Histories was really oddball and strange. It's cool, but it's just not. It didn't have anywhere near the same pizzazz as the first series did, unfortunately.
There you have it. Yeah. So we kind of sharing the same sentiments there, Cloney. And hopefully we haven't spoiled too much for the people who have watched it. And for those of you who are not familiar with Love, Death and Robots, which is basically an animated series of just short movies, animated short movies about love, death and robots.
They're usually about like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, and they're really good. So it's just like a bite-size kind of story. I like this kind of format. I really do. I've been watching a lot of these on YouTube, on the YouTube channel Dust recently. Not all animated, but some of them are. I do like the format, the short kind of sci-fi, futuristic type of thing.
And they're all different art styles. They're all kind of different moods.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, well, thanks for your question. Next up is Raven Knight. Have you played Knockout City, and what did you think? Is this Ubisoft's one where it's like a dodgeball game? Because if that is the one I'm thinking of, I haven't played it. Well, I know I've. Oh, is it the EA one? Yeah. Which one's the EA one? Oh, is it? Yeah, it is the dodgeball one.
Yeah.
Right. It is dodgeball.
It's yes.
I think it's that one.
It is dodgeball. Yeah. It's dodgeball.
Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty sure Ubisoft are doing something similar in this kind of Fortnite-esque art style. Fortnite meets like Rocket League kind of thing. Anyway, the question. Personally, I thought it's pretty good playing via Game Pass on PC. Oh, okay, maybe I'll have a look. I probably won't though. Had me interested enough to get to level 30 and Silver League in my first play session. Not usually one for these online multiplayer games, but more interesting than the Battle Royale games. Well, that's cool. Like, I'm glad you liked it. And whenever I saw it, I was like, this looks quite fun. It looks like bouncy and colourful, but it's just not the sort of thing I'd ever play for very long. And it's kind of like a party game to me. If I had some mates to play who were like, oh yeah, do you want to play this? I'm like, yeah, sure, cool, let's go and have fun with it. But it's just, it doesn't do anything for me personally, I'm afraid.
I mean, I'd probably try that if I was still subscribed to Game Pass, which I'm not. Because, yeah, it's kind of Rocket League-esque kind of gameplay, isn't it? You can just pick it up, play a couple of games, and then throw it down. And I guess you get better the more you play. So... yeah, I'm interested in it. I've not played it, so sorry I can't comment, Raven Knight. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. Let's move on. Tommy T 333. So this CG trailer for Battlefield 6 dropped. Have you any interest in the game? Who will win the Euros? Well, at least we've answered the first part of that question in the
right.
First part.
You talk away. I'm just going to grab my phone while you chat on about the Euros. Yeah, cool.
Go grab your phone. So. You know what we think about Battlefield 6. Who will win the Euros? Well, the safe money's on France, obviously the favourites. I don't know. I've got a strong feeling Germany are going to do really well. They've done well going into the tournament in their friendlies. And Italy as well. I'd like to see Italy do well. They've got some stars. Obviously Belgium, if they can get, what's his name, fit. I can't remember his name. The Man City player, the ginger midfielder, who's really good. Henry, you're not going to help me out here because you don't know anything about football.
Nope, I'm giving you nothing.
Yeah, I'm just blanking on his name. So other than that, you've got. I don't think England. I don't know. It's just I'm just no faith in the manager, unfortunately. I hope Wales get out the group. That'd be an achievement. And then. Yeah, Spain, Portugal, maybe. I don't know. But I'm going to root for. I'm not going to root for them, but I reckon Germany are going to win it. If I was to bet, I wouldn't bet on France because they're the safe money, and I don't like to just go along with everyone. I'd say if I had to pick Germany or Italy, I don't know, one of those two. We'll see what my prediction, how it pans out in 4 or 5 weeks' time. But thanks for the question, Tommy T73. And by the way, we've set up a Fantasy Footy League in the Discord. For those of you who are interested in we did Fantasy Footy season last season. Tommy T333 took the title. My God, that's a lot of T's. He beat me by 11 points. I got second, and Rob Lowe was third. So that was the order this year in the Fantasy Football. So. We've set up for one for anyone who's interested. Check out the Fantasy Football Discord channel and sign up because it's starting this weekend, guys. It's starting. Get involved. I think we've got 4 sign-ups for this Fantasy Football, and we will see how that goes. Let's move on.
Okay, next, and I think this is the final question from Tons. You will probably discuss E3 and Summer Game Fest starting all this week. I mean, yeah, we did. So maybe you can discard this, maybe give us 2 predictions that are in the realm of possibilities you'd like to see, and 1 outlandish prediction you'd personally like to see that probably will not happen. Okay, well, we'll do some quick predictions, because we said we won't waste loads of time on it. I'd like to see something God of War, and I think it's a possibility. That won't be at E3, so to speak, but during this whole period. I'd like to see something God of War. And I don't know about any other predictions. I think, I don't want to say another Sony game, but whatever the Sony Bend IP is, that could be a thing. The new one they're doing. What other games am I interested in that are coming out that we don't really know enough about?
I think Starfield is the number one for me.
Yeah,
let me know what Starfield's going to be like. Show me just something. Just show me something about Starfield. I'd be happy with that. And just maybe announce another Fallout. Like, Xbox are in charge now. Xbox hold the reins. Like, you can give that franchise to anybody. You can give it to Obsidian. Give it back to Obsidian. And make another Fallout. For God damn it. Please, do it. I would love it. Take it away from Bethesda. That would be so sick. For many reasons. Just like, yep, you're not having that anymore. You fucked it up. You're giving it to someone who's capable. That'd be awesome. The predictions are one outlandish prediction that you would personally like to see probably not happen. That would be the Nintendo Switch Pro. We've heard that there's a Nintendo Direct happening, and it's software only, so it's not going to happen. But I would love to see more information on the Nintendo Switch Pro, because everything that we've learned so far is unofficial. We don't even confirm that it's actually happening. So just fucking pull your fingers out your asses, Nintendo.
I think my outlandish one would probably... I want it, but I just don't believe it's going to happen. I really want it. But a Metal Gear,
right?
A new one, a remake, something with maybe Kojima involved, maybe not. It depends what it is. You can remake the old Metal Gear, not Metal Gear Solid, old Metal Gear on the MSX. Remake that, just with Metal Gear Solid 5's gameplay and with Golden, or something brand new. Screw it, do a sequel to Rising, because that game was pretty good. It wasn't like amazing. I didn't love it, but it was pretty good. Anything from Platinum, I'm happy to see. This is kind of outlandish because I don't expect to hear it this year, but I'd like to see what the fuck's happening next with Final Fantasy VII. I don't think we're going to see anything because they're doing what's the upgrade, the
remaster.
They call it something stupid. It's got like the new episode attached to it as well for the remake. Yeah, into something. Final Fantasy VII into something. So I doubt they're going to do the next part or whatever it is while they're doing that at the same time. I mean, they might, but I feel like Square Enix have virtually no idea what they're doing most of the time, and then just sort of wing it and see whatever works. So I don't expect to see that. It could happen, but I'd like to see it. But Metal Gear is probably the one. I don't have enough faith that it's actually going to ever happen.
You can cross your fingers and you'll be disappointed anyway, because that's what the games industry does to you these days.
New IPs. That's my prediction. There will be a new IP.
Well, I'd like to see some of the new Sony ones. The touting, we've got like a dozen games in development, and there's half of them are new IPs. Yeah, right. Oh, it's a 12. I can't remember how many.
Or give me Ubi's Star Wars game. I wonder if we'll... That seems in Ubi's wheelhouse to give us like a CG trailer for that. No gameplay there or anything, because we don't know anything about it other than the guys behind The Division are doing it, and it's going to be open world. I think that's confirmed. Yeah, whack up a CG trailer, show me a lightsaber or a blaster, then I'm like, okay, that's the kind of game it is. Then we can move on.
Thanks for the question, tons, and thanks everybody else for your questions. If I haven't thanked you already, we really appreciate the contributions to the podcast, and that ends the segment of the questions, which means it's time to move on to the Triggered Fanboy Comment of the Week. But we don't have a Triggered Fanboy Comment of the Week. We have a clearly didn't watch the video before commenting Comment of the Week.
So we've got several here this week because they're all pretty much on the same wavelength, and it's from, what did I call it? It's a video which, I mean, I'll admit it's a little bit baity, it's a little bit clickbaity, but it's not incorrect at all. It's CD Projekt's new Cyberpunk was broken, and that's based on the new information reiterating something we did already know. Granted, but it points. It's a
new footage
huge
as well,
bug-filled montage video.
The new footage, you mentioned it is.
Yeah. So new footage from the bug-riddled montage made by the developers, and the argument is that many of these bugs still persisted into the real game, so they clearly were aware of how buggy it was, even though, what's his name? Marcin Nowinski said something along the lines of, we didn't realize how bad they were because it didn't show up in testing. Yeah. Clearly it did, and you didn't do anything about it. So that's the lie.
Liar, liar.
I could have put up something like fire. Yeah. I could have gone more baity and being like, CD Projekt lied, and that's it. It probably would have done more views, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. Anyway.
You deserve credit for that.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 comments, all basically the same thing, and there were a few more that I didn't pick out because I just find in page searched for the word news and grabbed a load of them. So first up, we've got, this is probably the best one from, I can't really read his name, Beta Upgrade. Dude, that first headline is kinda old news. CDPR apologized for pushing out a rushed product ages ago. And, oh, my camera's given up. That's a great start. Alright, we'll carry on now. And admitted that the devs had wanted the leads that the game... Had warned the leads that the game wasn't ready. So yeah, you're late to the party on this one. Like a year late. Well, I'll read through all of them, then we'll start banging on them. I'm reading... Then this is from... a peaky smell? I can't really read that, it's quite blurry.
Yeah.
I'm reading the title of this video and it's like, yeah, no shit. You're titling this video as if anyone in the universe believes they weren't aware of the quality of their own game. I mean, that's based on our own like kind of memeing of like, oh yeah, we knew it wasn't ready, but that they... Wow, we'll keep going.
Hold on.
Why is that news? Of course they knew. They were just feeling a shitload of pressure. I mean, of course they knew it was broken. That is not news. New news. No shit, CDPR knew it was broken. It's already been stated months ago. Regurgitating old news is not good. Isn't this old news? Getting sick of the same regurgitated news. Of course they knew it was broken. Already know this. Why is this being posted now? This isn't news at all. And then the final one, which is the stupidest. Not watching the video because of how stupid their title is. CDPR knew Cyberpunk was broken. Allow me to use throwback. Duh. Lol. What the fuck? So, sorry, WTF. Forgive my foul language. There's nothing more stupid than coming to a video to say you didn't watch the video to say something is stupid. You're wasting your life doing that. That is one of the most stupid things you could possibly do in response to this. And all these people saying, oh, isn't this old news? I mean, if you saw the title, right, and the thumbnail was something to the same, the thumbnail was, they knew it was broken. If you knew it was old news, why did you click on the video? You look at it and you're like, they knew it was broken. Like, I know that. I look at the date. Yeah, that's old. Like, I'm not going to bother clicking on it. You still took the bait. That's why when I have no problem with clickbaiting when you still take the bait, because that's your fault at that point. It's not incorrect. Nothing in the title or thumbnail suggested something that was false. And if you actually watched the video, you would learn that I'm talking about a specific
evidence, like
new
proof.
Bit of information, which is this montage, yeah. And the argument around Marcin Nowinski saying that they didn't know when evidently they did because they were given the fucking videos. There's just dumb shit, man. Like, I don't know. I mean, considering there's quite a few who commented it, maybe I could have typed it something different, but I don't give a shit. It's a little bit baity, and I think it's just the perfect amount of bait, if I'm honest with you.
No, I think...
It's not old news. It's more information to... add favour to the prior information, you know, it adds more credence to it.
Yeah, it's true that the title, you could have said that title on any video following the bloody release of the game, and it would have been true then, it's true now. But, you know, the point is that these people have come to this video because maybe they're triggered by it, and like what has motivated them to comment this? Because they like the game and we're saying something negative about it. So the easiest way to refute what we're saying is by saying this isn't news, like that's any sort of argument. It's not.
I think it's the opposite. I think they hate the game so much they want more reasons to bag on it. But they're like, I'm already angry about this. Make me more angry, damn it.
yeah. You could take it both ways, that's for sure. But they obviously didn't stick around the point of the video was, the point of that segment in the video was that Nowinski said one thing and we've now got proof that he lied through his arse this guy who's got put up there as one of the, lead before the game released, was one of the leaders in the industry, did the right thing by the players. We leave greed to others. We've recently found out that he paid himself $6.3 million or whatever it was. Leave greed to others. He releases that shit game. Everyone held him up on a pedestal, and he lied through his fucking arse. And we got proof footage from pre-release of the game and all its bugs. We didn't know the game was in that state. Lying, greedy fucker. That's the point of the video. That was the point.
There are a couple of other comments who try to argue the footage doesn't actually prove anything because it's old. It's potentially old footage from early in development, and these kind of montages happen all the time. Both of those points I actually made in the video. The wider point is that he said they didn't know, and this internal stuff is made internally. It's not by people on YouTube. One of the first headline thing I saw that put me onto this story was CD Projekt were making their own bug montages before players ever were, which was really funny. And again, it's something that happens in development. It's QA doing their job. It's like, these are things that need to be fixed. The problem is, A, what's his face? Marcin Nowinski said we didn't know about it. B, some of them still weren't fixed.
Yeah.
So
they obviously knew about them because they're there in the footage pre-release. Whether they did anything about them, whether they acknowledged them or not, that's a different story. Like, he knew about them, or they knew about them. The QA testers, whoever made that video, knew about them. That's for sure. And they worked for CD Projekt Red, so they must have known about them. Anyway, yeah, that was the clear didn't watch the video before commenting comment of the week. Let's move on to other.
And it's a classic. Every single episode we could do something like that because there's always one fuckwit who just clicks on it to comment and then buggers off.
I don't mind. It adds engagement. It's fine.
I've said it so many times. It does add to engagement for the YouTube algorithm and all that. It's great, but I just think it's bad for humanity, man. It's the end of the world. Just wait for what. All right, this is kind of a sub point. Has anyone watched, and I hope you have because it's fantastic, a comedian called Bo Burnham. He did a new comedy, in inverted commas, thing where he shot it, recorded it, wrote it all by himself, locked inside one room for a whole year. It's comedy, but it's not. It's not like laugh out loud funny. It's basically you watch a man in real time go through the incredible highs and traumatic lows of creating anything, and it's quite horrific. But he's got this one bit that is kind of stand-up-esque, where he's basically saying, can anyone, for just like 5 minutes, shut the fuck up? Just shut the fuck up. And that's the whole bit. He just keeps saying that. Can literally anyone, for like an hour, shut the fuck up? And I cannot agree more. Yeah. It's very oddball comedy special. I don't think I can recommend it to everyone because it can be quite difficult to watch at times because it's not very like user friendly, but it's really good. I really liked it.
Cool. Right. Other
do you have any other comments?
Other comments? Yeah. Basically on the CDPR. I got a couple of things on the CDPR thing. So Undergrounder commented on, I think it was that video, we leave greed to others, CDPR, which kind of what I just said. Essentially, this guy is the one, the face of the company who leaves greed to others, and he pays himself £6.5 million, dollars or whatever, on the back of a game that just bombed and died in terms of performance and shareholder performance, player performance. It was just the shittest. Also on the CDPR extract from last week's podcast that was titled the Cyberpunk's he paid himself 6.5 million, whatever it was. Yoda Lemos comments, I've got this one. I'm kind of getting rage boner vibes from you guys, and it's turning me off. It's not really rage boner. I mean, we credit people with credit where credit's due. And before Cyberpunk released, we had nothing but great things to say about CDPR. Having never, I never really connected with The Witcher 3, but they did things right, and I liked that, and we stood for that on the channel. Like, they aligned with our principles, and we touted them, right? Rage boner. I wouldn't say that we're unnecessarily just raging for the sake of it, or jumping on a bandwagon or anything. We just say it like it is. We're not angry. We're not raging in that video. It's just funny, right? I think again this is another example of him being upset that we're ragging on one of his games that he likes.
I mean, yeah, sure sounds like it. But on that note, like, it's kind of become a thing in the PGG lore that I hate talking about Cyberpunk all the fucking time. Fortunately, we had a bit of a break, but now we've got two in quite short succession. And oh bloody hell, I've just lost it. Where's it gone? Here we go. It's from Tons, also known as Tony Schulman. Henry, the horror just never ends. Make it stop. Cooper. I don't like talking about it. Same with, and even mentioning it means talking about it. The Last of Us 2. It's not fun to talk about anymore. It's a pain in the arse, and people just get angry, including me. Maybe I do have a rage boner. Fuck it. Why not? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a rage boner, but I don't want it.
I think
it's a boner in inappropriate times.
Yeah. Okay. Call it what you like. We're just ragging. It's mainly just having fun. Taking the piss is what we say in the UK, right? We're just taking the piss, man. We're not being we're not rage filled. We're not being angry. That's what Americans do, man. That's what Americans like to do. They like to get angry at fucking everything. We just take the piss, man. That's part of our banter. British banter is all it is. So with Cyberpunk, we used to like CDPR, and now they did something shit. We're going to point and laugh as much as possible because it's funny. That's what we do in Britain. We point and laugh. And that's just part of our unique charm on this channel. If you call it a rage boner, then you're misinterpreting the whole thing. You're not getting it. You're not getting it. You just don't connect. So that's on you. That's on you. You don't get where we're coming from. Anyway, let's move on. I've got the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart review roundup. Loves to grind comments. Now, if only I could get a hold of a PS5, then we'll be golden. Yeah,
there's several comments like that.
Great game. Sony, just can't play the fucker.
Out. And on a very similar note, this is from the podcast Extract about the PlayStation boss Herman Holst, just doing an interview and dropping a few tidbits of information. This is from Daz636 saying, PS5 launch is one of the worst in console history and got 7 likes. And I'm here to tell you, buddy, you are just wrong. Okay? It sold 7.8 million copies of the PS5 as of March 31st. It only came out in like November, I think? November 19th, something like that. That's not one of the worst launches in history. The reason you're struggling to get one, which is a big problem and Sony need to sort that out, granted, the reason you've got a problem getting them is because they've all been bought. They physically cannot build anymore. They cannot build them to meet the demand because there's supply shortages of specific components like a semiconductor, I think it is. It's annoying that you can't get one, sure. I mean, I'm not that annoyed. I haven't even tried to get one because I'm not interested yet. But you are wrong when you say it's one of the worst console launches in history.
It depends what he's judging by the worst. Where it's the worst because they haven't produced enough, and the user experience has been the worst because if you can't get one, then you can't judge it.
But is it user experience if you're not a user of it?
Well, I mean, in terms of the player experience, right? The player wanted to get hold of it. Consumer. Consumer. Consumer is a better way to phrase it. In terms of like worst from a performance metric, how many you've sold, obviously it's not because they're selling out. That's the point, right? But in terms of the consumer experience, you could say it's the worst because it's the one that you most want to get a hold of. If it is the one you most want to get a hold of, and there's scalpers, and we're over 6 months since it released, and you still can't get a hold of one, that is a pretty bad.
It's just one of the worst in console history. I do not buy any of that argument in the slightest.
Like I said, depends what metric.
You don't sell 7.8 million units in like 6 months.
From Sony's perspective,
call that
it's not the worst. From Sony's perspective, not the worst. From the consumer though, it
is doable though. People can still get them. It's a bit difficult.
You don't want to pay $1,000 on eBay or whatever it is because it's scalping them. So I can see what he's trying to say. I don't think he said it right. Okay.
Do you have any more? I've got one more, but it's kind of 3 altogether.
No, I don't have any more right now.
So it's from a guy who he hasn't posted like an original comment, like a first comment at all. It's all responses, and he is perhaps the biggest Bloodborne simp I've seen in a long time. And this is from the Ratchet & Clank review roundup video, where on the thumbnail I quoted Gene Park from the Washington Post, who said it's the best PlayStation exclusive since Bloodborne, which is quite high praise because a lot of people really like Bloodborne. I personally didn't, so I think this is even more funny. So one person comes in called Arrow Noir saying, since Bloodborne, wow, all the PS4 gen must have sucked hard. Evidently, he either doesn't like Bloodborne and thinks the other one he's being sarcastic, or he just genuinely thinks the rest of the games are shit. And this guy, BMG, comes in. Bloodborne is a masterpiece. Why do you keep disrespecting From Software? Okay. Then there's one more, or another one, sorry. Bloodborne is better than God of War. Sorry, my friend, but no. That's from Funk. Then he comes in. BMG, Bloodborne is the best Souls game, has endless replayability, and has some of the best DLCs ever created. I don't think that's much of an argument against why God of War isn't as good. It's just why he likes Bloodborne, which is, okay, fine. I like his passion. I like seeing that. Then we got the final one, LMW Pit. Since Bloodborne, so not GT, Gran Turismo, I assume. Who's picking Gran Turismo as their favorite game? I suppose maybe if you're a racing fan, fair enough. Not Gran Turismo, God of War, or The Last of Us. Then he just comes in simple. I feel like this is like at the end of his rope, and he doesn't give a shit anymore. Just Bloodborne is a better game. Bloodborne's a better game. I like your passion, buddy. I like seeing that you're dedicated to fight the corner for Bloodborne. But it's a losing battle. I think no one engaged with him after that. No one seemed to agree. But yeah, I'm happy you're happy. I'm happy Bloodborne has done that for you. It's nice to see. And you're not toxic either. You're just being like, I really like Bloodborne. Here's why I like it. This is a good way, clean way to do it.
There you have it. That is the end of the comment section for this week. Let's move on to the final segment of the podcast this week, which is the bad dad joke of the week. Okay, I got 3 for you, Henry, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, tons. Whenever my wife is upset, I let her colour in my black and white tattoos. She just needs a shoulder to crayon.
That's quite funny.
That's quite funny, is it? Okay. Next one is...
I didn't see it coming.
Next one's from the Dad Says Jokes bot on the channel. What's the difference between Abu Dhabi and Dubai?
What?
Dubai don't like the Flintstones, but Abu Dhabi do. Abu Dhabi do. Okay, and that was a for God's sake reaction. This is my favourite this week. What did Yoda say when he saw himself in 4K? HDMI.
I know this one.
Oh, you've heard that.
HDMI.
HDMI. I thought that was pretty good.
It's quite funny, but I did already know it. The first one, the crayons, takes it for me.
There you have it. That is the bad dad joke, or the trifecta of bad dad jokes of the week. And that kind of sums up the end of the podcast. That is
3 bad dad jokes and like 8 triggered fanboys. Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, it's chocked full.
And in quite a short podcast as well.
We're lean, we're mean, and we've done it in record time in this week. So thanks for watching, everybody.
Thank God, because it's bloody hot in here.
It's hot. It's picking up. And thanks, everybody, for watching. If you want to support the content, get early access to the podcast, and ask us questions for next week, head over to patreon.com/pretty gaming. If everybody who wanted to support us did, we would be able to stop asking, because we'd have enough support that we didn't have to worry about the bills. But we do, so we really do appreciate everyone for going to support us over there. That is it for now. We'll see you again next week on behalf of Henry and myself. Bye for now.